I'm Major Jeff Cotner of the Violent Crime Section of the Crimes Against Persons Division of the Dallas Police Department. I'm here today to talk a little bit about individual robberies, specifically individual robberies and where victims are attacked as they approach their residence, and so they're on their driveway. My purpose here is to give a little clarity to some of the stories that may have been put out over the last 24 to 48 hours about this type of crime and really what it is and what the general public can do to help protect themselves. The department sent out an advisory suspect description. It's a very general suspect description and advisory earlier, and everybody in the room got that through Facebook. And if you haven't received it, we'll get it back to you. So I'm not going to read that scenario. First, I want to point out on individual robberies so far, year to date, and I realize we're just at the end of January, we have a 25% reduction in our individual robberies so far year to date. And that's a significant reduction in this type of crime. The city of Dallas has over 1,000 individual robberies on an annual basis. Right now, we're short of roughly about 220 reported individual robberies. What is occurring is, for lack of a really better word, is a strategy. There's a vulnerability of the individuals that are being targeted are vulnerable because they've become complacent. They're home. They pull into the driveway and they feel a sense of safety, and they feel it's okay to look at your Facebook and grab the sacks and things that you're doing, and their mind is transitioning, I'm home, as to what I'm doing next, when what may have occurred is someone may have followed them, or someone may have been watching them in the neighborhood, and that makes them vulnerable to that. It's not really any different than anything that we've talked to as an organization to the public about holiday shopping and to being vigilant as you walk to your car with all of your packages and things like that. So it's very similar to that. There's some tips. I am going to read some tips here for everyone to associate this, and it's always to be aware of your surroundings. Don't let your smartphone or something else distract you. Avoid isolated or dark areas when alone. If you feel you're being followed, drive to a safe public location and call 911. If you arrive home and see any suspicious people or activities, call 911 immediately. In the unfortunate circumstance that you are robbed, we ask that you comply with the suspect's directions and don't volunteer any more than what is being asked for. If you must reach inside your bag or purse, we ask that you tell the suspect what you're doing before you do it. Now, I read these out because a lot of what's happening is our victims are elderly females. They seem to be the most vulnerable here, and they're the subject of the attack. I mentioned earlier that we've had a series of offenses throughout the city. And I say that's throughout the city, but we have had recently several in the northeast part of our city, near White Rock, the M Streets, Lakewood, Casa Linda. Some of these offenses show up as robberies. Some of them are thefts of persons because they don't always use a weapon, or there wasn't any sort of physical contact associated with it, so it's a theft of person versus a robbery. Right now, the Dallas Police Department is looking at all of that data to determine the total number of offenses that we have and making sure that we're doing every investigative opportunity that's available to us. We have made some arrests. We're looking at the suspects that we have arrested to see if they're responsible for some of the offenses that have occurred. The suspect description that was given out in the information, that person may actually be 2 different people or 3 different people. We're not sure yet. In the past, we've had offenses where multiple individuals have approached folks in their driveway. So you can see how challenging that is for us to investigate. And that's why we're asking the public to be vigilant all the way through their driveway. If they don't feel comfortable, we want them to take safe steps to protect their safety, not to go inside, to pull back out. To be aware when they're leaving a store. They run out to run an errand and somebody's watching them. They run out and they run an errand real quick and they're actually being followed back. So we ask them to be cognizant of their well-being and vigilant throughout. All right. Questions? Yeah, Randy.
Do you guys feel like, do you feel like all of these are connected, or do you feel like there may be, one or more individuals who just have seen this? Criminals talk. Let's face it. They beat out of the jail and they can talk that, hey, you can catch old ladies, getting out of the car, they never see you coming. I mean, do you think that this is one of those deals where it's sort of become episodic by an individual or a crew, or is it more random in terms of multiple individuals possibly committing the same kinds of crime?
I believe it to be a strategy. These safety tips apply every day. It's not as if they apply to one specific region of our city right now. That there may not be any sort of organized information sharing amongst of those that commit these offenses, but there is some awareness amongst them that there's a vulnerability now. You think about our lives, and we've got smartphones and all the other things that seem to make the pace of our life a little bit more cluttered. And that we're asking everyone just to slow down just a bit when you're coming home. Find your awareness. Look around. Things don't seem right, don't go in. Call somebody to come out and meet you in the driveway. Or if you see something suspicious, every time I want you to call 911.
But you believe at least one man is responsible for at least 3 of these robberies?
Austin, we made an arrest last night. That individual, we believe, may be responsible for one more, and we have him under investigation for some others. Of the most recent outstanding offenses, such as what Randy's question, more than one person may be responsible. Even though there may be a ski mask, there may be a weapon, in some circumstances the attacker was polite, others they were a little bit more aggressive. So that's hard. It's hard for us to say that one person is responsible. Of those offenses that we have outstanding, we have investigative leads. Right now, we feel that we're tracking very well on a couple of them, and we hope to have arrests soon. And then from there, we'll see their relationship with some of these other offenses.
Major, would you consider it to be unusual for an individual who's committing these kinds of robberies to have a gun in one incident and then use a knife in another one? I mean, he's not trying to necessarily cover an MO, but generally if somebody's using a gun, don't they continue to use that gun?
I'm not certain that every case would be that way. And the uniqueness is if I have a suspect that one day brought a gun and one day brought a knife and one day used his fist, I think that would be unique and abnormal, yes. Generally, when a suspect has a strategy, they stick to their strategy.
Does that, I guess, make you lean towards there may be multiple people involved, or even if they're together, even if you have maybe you have 1 or 2 people and one of them carries a knife, one of them carries a gun, and he says, "Hey, it's your turn this time. I'm waiting in the car," or something to that effect.
Randy, we're looking at everything. We're taking all of our investigative opportunities, looking at all the information, and let the evidence lead us to where we need to go. We're not drawing any conclusions beforehand.